So let me start with a brief introduction of the Tohoku University. So Tohoku University has 4 campuses in Sendai City, which is located in the northern part of Japan. Today I'm speaking from here, Sendai City. And its history is relatively old in Japanese higher education context. It was founded in 1907 as the third national university. And this historical episode may be a reference to think about how much we were ready for diversity in students. It was the first Japanese university to accept female students that was not formally admitted in the early 20th century in Japan. And this is a list of schools and institutions in Tohoku University. About 18,000 students are studying in each program, and the number of international students is about 2,000, which consists of 11% of total students group. Those international students are coming from over 200 universities in the world, partner universities in the world. And I'm going to show the 2 tables about student mobility. This is a top 20 ranking of Japanese universities, which accepted many international students in 2019. Tohoku University was located in the 12th in the ranking list. And this another list of 20 universities, which had a certain number of domestic students who experienced studying abroad in 2018. Tohoku University is again ranked as the 12th among all universities in 780 universities in Japan. So far, our achievement in student mobility itself could be said as not bad. But however, there is a relatively shocking result from the survey we conducted 5 years ago. We had the international student survey on their study and life in Tohoku University. One of the questions was to ask how many Japanese friends they had. And about a quarter, this light blue part, a quarter of the respondents answered they didn't have any Japanese friends. And this orange part, nearly half of them had less than 5 friends of Japanese. So this result tells the number of student mobility itself doesn't mean a successful internationalization, as Professor Jones already mentioned, and Professor Beren suggested it as a misconception. So we have to do something more to make the internationalization truly meaningful to all students in Tohoku University. So this is one of the actions we took as a solution. Intercultural Collaborative Learning, or ICL, or Kokusai Kyoshu in Japanese, has emerged in Tohoku University's general education curriculum since the early 2000s. The definition of ICL was already introduced by Professor Suematsu. Thanks to an over 15-year effort by faculty members related to ICL, this teaching method has been gradually recognized and moved into the core of the general education in Tohoku University. In 2019, about 1,000 domestic and international students studied in the course with ICL. Because ICL requires meaningful interaction between students with different cultural backgrounds, it facilitates students to reconstruct their own views to the world and create friendship between them. Our ICL initiatives have been successful, and we collected an increasing number of international students, particularly exchange students, into ICL classrooms. However, the pandemic had a huge impact on the ICL movement in Tohoku University. This is a change in the numbers of international students before and after the pandemic. The table doesn't seem to give us such an impact of the pandemic in our international student numbers, but actually it did in classroom. The ICL tended to collect many international exchange students, colored in orange here in the table. So this number is those who registered as exchange students, but they actually couldn't come to Japan and had to stay in their home country. So there were actually no exchange students on our campus. We had to do something to conduct ICL class from spring semester. So this was one of the main reasons why we started our project to cope with the pandemic. The whole project was named as Be Global, which started in April 2020, right after shutting down the border of Japan. So Be Global project was planned in Global Learning Center and spread out throughout the university. Global Learning Center was in charge of activities of international education, including student mobility, EMI programs, and intercultural collaborative learning. Big Global project installed the digital tools and environments into those functions. And it consists of these 4 streams. But I'm going to focus on this second part today, called Virtual Community for Intercultural Collaborative Learning. So this is what we did after the pandemic. In last March, we realized we couldn't collect sufficient number of international students in our classrooms. So some faculty members immediately contacted some of our partner universities to ask whether we could collaborate online in teaching. 2 instructors in American and Canadian partner universities said yes for collaboration. And those courses were offered by Professor Suematsu, and she already described what happened in her courses in her presentation. In the following fall semester, we increased the courses which could offer online collaborative learning. There were other 2 actions we took in Big Global project. One was to form a student support team. There were some students who already learned in the ICL classrooms. They knew the benefit of learning with peers from different cultural backgrounds. So we thought they could be a good facilitator of ICL. We collected 11 undergraduate and graduate students who could lead the collaborative learning, as well as being a good help for teachers to conduct classes in a virtual environment. As we expected, supporters did very well in helping the students' discussion in the virtual classrooms. The other thing we did in the Big Global project was to offer many workshops and seminars for international educators about how to deliver interactive online classes. It was a good opportunity for me to exchange information about challenges, issues to be discussed, benefit points, ideas for the future of ICL. And this is an example of the online ICL courses I offered last fall semester. This course is to think about livability, or sumiyasusa in Japanese, of regional cities. The students focus on one topic, such as public transportation in the countryside, or disaster prevention, or how to live with wild animals peacefully in town, and to give a presentation to show what they learned and suggestions for future improvement of the topic they chose. The sessions were 15 times in total, and I assigned half sessions to conduct virtual ICL. I invited students from 2 partner universities, Monash University in Australia and University of California, Riverside in USA. We used Zoom for a virtual classroom and used Padlet for a virtual discussion among students. There were some challenges in my online course. Difference in academic calendar was a challenge, and it would be a typical issue in the future trial of online ICL that would be easily overcome by an effort of one institution. Imbalance of student number between partner universities was another issue. Actually, we cannot find the exact number of students in classroom until we open the course. So this was another issue. The last challenge was about the ability of operating the language of instruction. It was sometimes hard for Tohoku University students to just follow the discussion by the native speakers of English, but I think they did very well though. I assigned different sessions for collaborative learning with partner universities because of the difference in academic calendar. With Monash University, we had sessions in the earlier part of the course in October. And with UCL students, we had sessions in later part of the course in November and December. Tasks for the sessions were also different because learning goals for students in each university were different. Students in Monash University already learned the livability in their course study, so their task with us was to discuss the topic they chose. UCL students were in the Japanese language courses, so we had different learning goals. I divided the time with UCL students into 2 parts. The first part was for UCL students to learn living Japanese from Tohoku University students. The latter part was for Tohoku University students to give an interview with the UCL students about their livability project. Before starting the virtual ICL, I thought the collaboration with UCL might not work well because of the difference in the tasks. But my assumption was totally wrong. My students liked the work with UCR students because they felt they could contribute to the UCR students' learning of Japanese, and they gained confidence. And this feeling of contribution worked well for their interview activities because they felt a sense of give and take in their work, and they were not hesitant to conduct interviews. It was a happy misunderstanding I had never gained if I never had a goal. So overall, a trial of online ICL was successful. All the participated students showed satisfaction in their learning and the communication with students in the partner universities. And more than that, some students in Tohoku and UCR decided to study abroad when Japan and the USA can open the national border again. So this is a concluding part of my presentation. I believe all of you here, you did your best last year. I believe many of you did more than you could do in a peaceful time. Last year was a kind of adrenaline rush, or kajiba no bakajikara in Japanese saying. It was something like a special time, and we cannot repeat the way what we did last year. It was very exhausting time we spent, and we have to think how we can rebuild international education in a more sustainable way. So these 4 points might be a help to rethink the practice of international education in the new normal age. Possibly, it is a big chance to introduce a true internationalization of the curriculum in your university because the new normal collects great attention of your university's top managers. In order for that, we might have to do assessment of students' learning outcomes and identify to what extent cognitive and non-cognitive learning can be achieved by online, and utilize the results of the assessment to blend online and face-to-face learning. Management is another important issue to rethink. Our stakeholders' view for university international education would be a good help to internationalize the curriculum in the best way. The new normal standards might change the flow of funds too. The revenue sources will become more diversified and resource allocation will change because the areas of expertise in international exchange will change too. International education will change too, sorry. Last but not least, we have to think about well-being of students and staff members in our university. How has the pandemic impacted on the students and the teachers' physical and psychological health? And especially students who enrolled 2020 and after are seriously suffered from compulsory isolation. We know that university is not just a place of gain knowledge, but a place to make lifelong friendship and global network. So we have to plan a practical solution to support young students to socialize themselves. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.